Today, I'm going to tell you about the worst experience of my life, a story that began with an encounter with the dark web. It all started with my friend Zane. Zane was a professional hacker who went by the online alias Lems, as in sour lemons. That was his nickname. We'd always say, "Hey Lems, come over Lems. Lems is going out." That was it. He was a very quiet guy, didn't go out with us much, but he was a hacker, a real expert, seriously strong. Whenever anyone we knew got their account stolen or anything taken, we'd always go straight to Zane. One day, my email account got hacked and stolen. I needed Zane, aka Lems, to help me get it back. So I went to his place in Toronto and sat down with him so we could try and recover the account that was stolen from me. He was sitting next to me, working hard, making intense efforts, trying every way he could to get my account back. While he was working, I asked him, "Hey, how do you do all this? What do you use? How does it all work?" He told me, "I do it through something called the deep web." I asked him, "What's the deep web?" He said, "The deep web is where I can go to get stolen accounts back." He was good though, not a criminal hacker. He was a good hacker. He actually worked for Microsoft on the red team. Those guys, their main job is to try and hack into the company itself to find vulnerabilities so they can go and fix them. So that was their job. The better the hacker, the higher their level in the company. So yeah, they're hackers, but good ones. He told me, "The deep web is what we use to access things so I can get your stuff back, your account or anything stolen from you. Any data." A little while later, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'll be right back." He was renting a house and lived there alone. He was a bit of a recluse. He got up and went to the bathroom. Honestly, his office looked incredible. I thought I'd just sit there and take a look around his office, see what it was like. I sat down in the chair. It was really comfortable. I started looking around at his desktop, which was full of all sorts of jumbled things, lots of stuff. Then I saw an icon on the right side called Tor. He had all his icons grouped together in one spot. I opened it up, curious to see what it was, and found it was just a regular browser, like Google Chrome. When I opened it, I saw a big list of websites. I started scrolling through, scrolling. Then I found a website and clicked on it. There were lots of websites saved on the side. The strange thing was that all these websites ended in onion. That was the first time I'd ever seen a website that ended in onion. I opened it and found a website that looked like eBay, a place for buying and selling. But it wasn't buying and selling ordinary things. This was the real deal. This website was selling email accounts, credit cards, counterfeit money. Of course, the accounts and emails and stuff like that were listed as untraceable. The fake money, for example, would say something like $1,000 for $50. They were selling credit cards and weapons. The shock came when I was browsed and found they were also selling people. That was something totally bizarre to me. And another thing that was on there was murder. You could hire someone to kill someone in whatever way you wanted and pay them money. There were other things too, like recorded videos of people being murdered and of rape and lots of horrific stuff. I couldn't believe something like that even existed. While I was scrolling, I saw something that translated to hired killer. The name caught my attention. I wondered what this headhunter was like. So I clicked on the link. When I opened the link, a message popped up in the middle of the screen that said, "You are safe with us as long as you follow the rules of peace. No names and no personal questions." Then there was an OK button. I clicked OK. Another message popped up that said, "The price is 1,300 Bitcoin, excluding transfers." I thought, what's Bitcoin? I figured it was maybe an Indian currency or something. What was this Bitcoin? It also said, "Feels like you're ordering pizza. Seriously weird. And no refunds. Cancellation will incur full charges. OK?" And cancel. I clicked OK. A third message popped up. What did this third message say? "By agreeing to the terms, you acknowledge that you have read the first two messages." And in parentheses, "If you haven't read the first two messages, please click cancel and restart the process." Of course, I had read the first two messages, so I clicked OK. In that very second, I saw a 3D globe light up and spin, and as it spun, it zoomed in on my location, which was Zane's house. Of course, I saw the scene and was terrified. I felt like something was wrong, but I just thought, whatever, of course. You can do a live location on WhatsApp, so I thought it was normal. At that moment, Zane came into the room saying, "Sorry, man, I took so long." He glanced at the screen and went pale. You did what? What is this? I told him. I didn't do anything. He rushed over to the screen and looked. Then he ran to the main breaker box of the apartment and flipped the power off to the entire place. Then he came back to me and said, Ethan, you have to tell me right now what happened so I can fix it. Because if you don't tell me, we're in big trouble. I laughed nervously and said, I didn't do anything. He looked at me, silent for a moment. Then he said, I'm waiting to hear, but I have to tell you there's no time for whatever you're doing. I'm waiting. Please tell me what happened. He looked serious and angry, really scared. That's when I started to feel like we were actually in trouble. So I told him what happened, how I was just clicking around on that browser program called Tor, how I opened it and saw all the stuff, and how I clicked and did things, and those 2 messages popped up, and I clicked OK on both, and then OK on the third one, and then I saw that globe. He just looked at me and said, Do you know what you just did? I went quiet and said, What is it? Is that stuff real? He said, You just got onto the dark web. I said, What's the dark web? Didn't you say that you go on the deep web? And is this the same thing, or what? I'm so confused. In that very second, we both got 2 messages. One for him and one for me. On our phones. Our phones were next to the computer. I picked up my phone and looked at the message. It said, Your request has been confirmed. You will be contacted upon arrival at Toronto Pearson International Airport. I felt my whole body go cold. How did they get my phone number? I hadn't typed it in anywhere. I asked Zane. I didn't give them my phone number. He said, No, you don't need to. I asked him, What did you get? He said, the same message, because he was imagining what kind of phone you had. I said, What? What happens in a situation like this? What are we supposed to do now? He said, What are we gonna do? I said, What did I do wrong? What happened? Please explain it to me. He said, Okay, listen closely, he said. Basically, that's where all the databases are. The databases of all the hospitals. The databases of the banks. He said, the stuff that shouldn't be on the regular internet, on Google. It's not normal for you to type, for example, Mohammed's account number at the bank. Even if you are Mohammed, and if Google just bring it up. You have to go to a website, and on that website, you type in a username and password, and it pulls up a database, and your name comes out of that. That database is what's on the deep web. So that's the deep web, I said to him. So what did I just get onto? He said, You just got onto the dark web, which is right below the deep web, and that has stuff on it that you can't even imagine. I had seen some strange things and told him about them. He said, Yeah. He said, You haven't seen anything yet. There's stuff beyond your imagination on that deep web. He said, There are people who cut off parts of their bodies and trade them with each other and eat them. These are cannibals. He said, You can't imagine the disasters that are on there. You shouldn't go on it. And that person you contacted, that's part of a very large organization of hired killers. And be careful, they won't let us go. He said he'd get up. I said to him, So what are we gonna do now? What's the solution? He said, Okay, first, bring me anything related to technology that you have with you. So I took out my phone. He grabbed it, took out the SIM card, and snapped it in half. That was the first thing he did. I asked him, What are you doing? He said, It's done. You're gonna get a new number other than this one. That's the first step. Then he took out his phone, snapped it, took out the SIM card, and snapped it too. Then he took the computer, broke the motherboard, took it apart, short-circuited it. He took out the hard drive, short-circuited it, and took the network card and short-circuited that too. He short-circuited pretty much everything in the computer. He took it apart and short-circuited it. He got a big garbage bag and threw all the stuff in it. He said, Let's go. I'm just gonna grab my bag of clothes from this place, and we'll take this stuff with us now. I thought, what's he gonna do with it? He already short-circuited everything. He took it, and we drove around in the car until we reached a remote spot. He took the garbage bag and threw it into a dumpster. He said, Okay, let's go. You go home now, and I'll go to my parents' place, and we'll talk later, I said. Okay, sure, of course. I felt like I had caused a disaster. I left him at that moment and went home, and he went to his parents' place. I didn't know where he lived, because he was always renting apartments and was very secretive. He would rent an apartment for a while, and after a year, he'd move and rent another one, and after another year, rent a third one. He didn't have a permanent address, and no one knew anything about him. He went out rarely, spoke little, was just a strange guy. I went home, of course, feeling down, feeling like I had messed up badly. The guy broke his phone and his whole computer because of me. I got home, and I was anxious. Then I thought about it. Everything was done. What could happen? He broke everything. That guy could never find us now. How would he? I went to sleep and woke up the next day feeling normal, and I started going about my life, living normally after that. There were no problems, thank God, until one day. I was sitting with my friends at the Maple Leaf Brew, hanging out late, having a good time, laughing. I looked down and saw my phone ringing. It said, unknown number at the top. My body froze because this whole thing had just happened recently. Anyway, I thought it might be a telecommunications company doing promotions, but it was late. Around PM, I answered it, and a guy on the other end said, I am entering Toronto now. You will receive a message with my account number. You will deposit 13,000 Bitcoin and an additional 1,000 Bitcoin for 8 transfers. You will reply to me with a message containing the name of the target, their details, and the location of the hit. This must be done within today's maximum. Then he hung up. I didn't even get a chance to say anything. I didn't even get to say, wrong number. But I was sure this guy wasn't joking. I didn't know what to do. My nerves were completely shot. My friends who were with me said, Hey man, what's wrong? What happened? I said to them, No, just leave me alone for now. I need to go, they said. Sit down, don't go. At that moment I said, I need to go. I can't stay. I said goodbye to them. Even forgot to pay, forgot everything. I went and sat in the car and started thinking, how did he get my number? I got a new phone number, just like Zane told me to. I bought a new number. At that moment, I called Zane and told him, Zane, this guy just called me. And I told him what he had said. Here, I'll call you. He said no. I said, how did he get my number? And why me? You were with me in the same situation. He said, did you go back to the same number? I said, no, of course, not the same number. You told me to get a new number and a new phone. I bought a new phone, opened it from the box myself, and bought a new SIM card and put it in. He said, I am entering Toronto Pearson International Airport. Zane said, okay, listen, don't worry. He actually tried to reassure me because I was a nervous wreck. He kept reassuring me, saying, don't worry at all. It's okay. Calm down. Take that phone. Go sell it anywhere. Break the SIM card and get another one. I said to him, and then what? Will that solve the problem? He said, yeah, don't worry. If anything happens, just call me right away. I said, okay, fine. I went home, of course, still anxious and not knowing what to do. Every time I remembered him talking to me, I didn't know what to do. Of course, I followed Zane's advice. I went and sold the phone at a loss. I had just bought it. Hadn't even had it for a day or two. I sold it, threw away the SIM card, and got a new one. I thought, okay, I'll follow his advice and not overthink it. There's nothing else I can do. I went to sleep. The next day, I woke up in the afternoon. The first thing I saw when I woke up was a bouquet of roses on the table. All dark red roses. A sad-looking bouquet. I went to my MOM and said, good morning, MOM. How are you? Everything okay? She said, fine, thank God. I said to her, what's this sad bouquet of roses? Did someone bring it for you? Did someone pass away or something? She said, no, honey, it's for you. See who the sad person who sent it to you is? I went over to the table and picked up the bouquet. I found a card inside. It said, the payment and the target's location have not been received. Please send them within today's maximum, of course. When I saw this, my nerves got even worse. I didn't know what to do anymore. I had done everything. That guy obviously knew my address. He didn't need my phone anymore. He knew my house, so that was it. This for me was a clear and direct threat. Of course, sending me a bouquet of roses, and not just any roses, but the kind of roses used for condolences. When you want to offer condolences to someone, you bring them that kind of bouquet, those dark red roses. For him to send something like that to my house meant he was definitely threatening me. The world went completely black in my eyes. I didn't know what to do anymore. I thought, well, maybe I should just pay him the money. How much is it? 13,000 Bitcoin. Let's see if it's a small amount, like $5,000 or $10,000. Someone is threatening your life. Maybe $20,000. Just get it over with. I opened the internet and found that 1 Bitcoin was worth 7 ISO 13,000 Bitcoin plus the 1,000 for transfers. That's 14,000 Bitcoin, which was around $98,000. Of course, for me, that was a shock. I knew there was no way I could ever pay him that much money, no matter what. Wait for the second part.